What is up, YouTube? It is your boy K-Rod. I'm back here with another good stream. Hey, for those of you that are interested, if you guys want to stream off of your phone, how I do it, get this app. It is called, oh, sweet. Anthony Joshua got ordered to fight Usyk? Yo, let's talk about that a little bit. But basically, get this app called Omlet Arcade Recording. Just type in Omlet Arcade. It's a pretty good software. I personally like it. It really helps you out in terms of what you want to do. But this is a pretty good, software that I like personally using. Especially if you're not wanting to do it off of your computer with all that crazy technology. If you want to just do it off your phone, this is definitely the way to go. I think this is like the future of streaming, and the future of IT alone. I think this is a really good innovation. Whoever made this, and you're definitely doing big things, and you're helping out the world itself to make it easier for people to use software at a level where your phone is now capable of streaming anything that you want based on what your likes and interests are. So I really do appreciate this app. Get Omlet Arcade, a very good app. I think it's probably one of the better ones compared to other ones that people probably use. But I think this one is like God tier. It's simple. It's right to the point. So you can connect your Twitch. You can connect your YouTube. It's pretty easy. So let's talk about some boxing. We've had some really good boxing controversy. A lot of bullshit that I've heard from the top ranked BS. But let's talk about it. First off, we're going to talk about Alexander Usyk being ordered through the WBO to fight Anthony Joshua. Now that Usyk is his mandatory and Usyk is forcing the fight now, you already know what's going to happen in the heavyweight division. But AJ is now going to fight Usyk. See, now with Usyk, this is a good fight. Stylistically, I don't think this is going to go well. Because AJ, as chinny as he is, it could go either way. Usyk could hit him, or AJ can hit him. But I think with AJ's style, his style would be a lot more dangerous compared to Usyk. See, now, I personally would give the edge to Usyk because Usyk, he has better boxing ability, and the pure boxing talent could result in better boxing IQ. But with AJ, that might be a problem for him because he doesn't have the fastest feet in the world. But AJ, he has a good shot selection of how of how to slow down an opponent with good punches to drain out their soul. And I say that hyperbolically in the sense of AJ, he's very technical and he's very dangerous to hit you at the right shot. And I definitely give a lot of respect for AJ in the sense of he knows how to break people down. But here's the problem though. AJ has a glass chin. And I don't want to say that the black fighters will always have that downfall, especially from the UK. But AJ, out of all boxers, I really wish if he was trained in America and not getting that bullshit ass training in the UK. I don't know what it's called, but I want to disrespect the hell out of the UK by calling it the Queen's bullshit training. That's how I call it. I call it Queen Pussy England boxing. That's how I see it. It's not real boxing. It's just bullshit European style boxing. And I think AJ, he's the epitome of it because what you see out of AJ is what you get out of AJ. But if you compare that to Deontay Wilder, it's not going to be like that. Deontay Wilder is an equalizer, and Deontay Wilder, he's a facilitator. So what you bring to Deontay Wilder, it's going to be different every single night. Deontay Wilder can adapt to what you're doing to him. But for AJ cannot do that because he's so one-dimensional. And I don't ever see a fight where AJ, he can actually make the proper adjustments and the improvements to make himself more dangerous in a fight. And I don't think it's like, I don't think there's anything that AJ can't fix. It's that AJ, I think he falls too much in love with what he does with his power, thinking that saves him, in which I don't even think he really has power anymore. It's just more to do with like how he fights. It's more to do with his stylistic methods. You know, the methodical offense is just not really persistent. His defense is very, very timid. It's very predictable to know what he's going to block. It's like, you know, if you're going to, you know, try to hit him with like a check left hook, he's just going to basically step back, try to jab you, and then maybe try to go in for like a 1-2, you know, 4-5 combo, and then he'll try to end it with some deadly uppercut. But it's like AJ, he's way too robotic, and I definitely do agree with Blue Blood Sports TV on criticizing AJ for that. But the issue is just that, how much can you really expect out of AJ? Like, I don't think he's just like another Kell Brook in that manner, where it's like what you see is what you get out of him. But AJ, if he gets styled on by Usyk, does that mean him and Wilder are going to come at it now? Because I think Wilder's going to whoop Fury and kill Fury in the third fight. But if Fury doesn't want to fight Wilder, Fury is going to lose his belt, and he's not going to basically have anything. See, now, I was talking with Kano, shout out to Kano Loco, last night about the whole Fury-Wilder situation, and he told me that Fury, he can't even back out of this fight, which, it's not even true. Fury can back out of this fight. The problem is that there's a lot of legal ramifications behind it, and the thing is that if you back out of this fight, I think a U.S. senator could actually back this, and he could actually force a legal arbitration, you know, I guess like prosecution on Fury, which I would just basically say that's what the judge will do. The judge, even at a federal level, if this goes to a federal court hearing, if Fury doesn't want to fight Wilder, Wilder could then force another charge in terms of Fury cheating against him, and now Fury, he's fucked with a hefty big-ass fine on top of going to prison. And Wilder, if he really wants to, he could actually try to force a death penalty onto him. Like, I would even go that far too. It's like, look, you like you didn't want to fight me, but yet you know, you're more than willing to go to court and face your legal ramifications to one fraud, you know, the fight by trying to say that, you know, you were going to give Wilder step-aside money, which that was never to be said in any contractual obligation, in terms of Wilder getting his third fight, but yet, you know, Fury wants to lie about what happened in contract negotiations, which, you know, that should always be private in terms of like what goes on, you know, through the back door, I would say. But I mean, through the open door, it's like, yeah, that's fine, because it's like when NBA contracts are discussed, yes, it's private for the most, like, you know, for the most part, but they do talk about how much money this player will get, but they don't talk about what this player has to do for the team and what's going on behind closed doors through the team itself. Because it's like, that doesn't make any sense. You know, you could talk about how much money the player is going to get, but in boxing, it's like, everybody wants to be all Mr. Super Top Secret, you know, Mr. Hitman style, like, oh man, I can't tell you anything about what's going on in this fight. No. But what Fury likes to do is that Fury, he likes to lie and be a dick. So Fury's trying to back out of this Wilder fight by creating drama to make it seem like, oh man, like, you know, this fight has to be made, blah, 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 because Deontay Wilder, he's blocking Undisputed. Yeah, Undisputed with me and Anthony Joshua. It's like, no, motherfucker, you were the one blocking this fight because you knew what the fuck was going to happen. You knew in the first fight you could not cheat enough against Wilder, so the second fight you had to amp up the cheating and damn near kill Wilder in the second fight. So now in the third fight, you gave Wilder all this time. You kept, like, delaying this fight a couple months, and then a couple weeks here and there, and then somewhere out of nowhere you wanted to back out of this fight because you knew that Wilder, he was getting better. Wilder wasn't saying anything. He was keeping his mouth shut. He was letting you do the talking, and Wilder, he's going to do the acting behind closed doors. He's going to talk with that action. So he probably got his thoughts together. He probably was like, yo, what the fuck happened in this fight? And then come to notice that he found out that he got cheated. Okay, Wilder knows what the hell's going on now. He listened to us, the new media, which I wouldn't say that I'm really like a part of that, stable, but I would say that for independent media that has done their job, and I probably would credit myself for doing that job too, because I was also listening into other channels and I looked into the information myself. And I know that Fury cheated because I looked at what the evidence showed. The evidence showed that Fury did not come to win. He came to try to kill Wilder. Wilder could easily notice that his whole face did not look right. The minute he walked into the ring, he looked all slow. He looked like somebody drugged him. And I mean, if Wilder wasn't drugged and he got beat by Fury through the gloves, let's just say he broke Wilder's face and Wilder's skull was actually dented, if not cracked all the way in, then that's a huge ass case. Wilder could easily throw the book on Fury, and he's still going to throw the book on him anyway. But what Wilder wants to do is that he wants to have that justice in the ring. He wants to beat the fuck out of Fury. He wants to kill Fury for all the crimes that he has done to him. So it makes sense on Wilder's end, but what Fury wants to do is that he wants to create drama. He wants to create all this piece of shit talking and all this lying and all this hearsay here and there. It's like, it's stupid, man. It's like, you should have had your chance if you wanted to beat Wilder the third time, as if it was going to be easy, knowing that Wilder, he was just about recovered by December of 2020, leading into 2021, because remind you, after February of 2020, it was January, February, March, April, June, July, August, September, November, December. So Wilder had, he had plenty of time to recover within that whole timeline. And Wilder said he was more than ready to fight Fury. But guess what? Fury was making up the excuses to not fight Wilder, and nothing came down to fruition because of COVID. Because Bob Arum was like, oh man, we can't set up this fight. This fight needs to be held with fans. We could try to make the fight here in the Las Vegas Raiders Stadium, but according to the COVID protocol, it can't be made. So I'm gonna keep postponing the fight, which it can't be held for some weird reason, because it's too big of a magnitude fight. Who the hell cares? Let the guys fight. You had all these title fights with all these other guys during COVID, but for some odd reason, you can't have a heavyweight title bout between Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder and Tyson the Gypsy Bitch Fury? Get the fuck out of here. Get the hell out of here. It does not matter. We've seen multiple title fights before in the past that had very little to no fans. So what makes anyone think that you need to have fans for a big, high-profile heavyweight title bout? Yeah, the money will still be there. It's not like these promoters are gonna lose out on money. This is why I want promoters out of boxing, by the way. But it's like, let the fight happen, because you could stream it, you could make it pay-per-view, and boom, all the people that stream are gonna tune into the pay-per-view, and then all the people that are part of the big following of the fighters are going to absolutely watch that fight. It's gonna be a damn good fight. But no, Mr. Piece of Shit Bob Arum and Mr. Piece of Shit Frank Warren did not want to make the fight right away. So they wanted to hold this fight up because, one, Bob Arum said that, well, this fight can't be made because, one, it's going to be in confliction with other sports like college football, the NBA, which is still going through the playoffs, and it still went through the worst ratings of all time. And it, all these other sports were not going to have too much of an impact for boxing. So boxing still could have operated even though college football was going on and all these other seasons were going on. But I understand why Arum wanted to do that, because he wanted to do it because he didn't want Wilder to beat Fury. He did not want Wilder to come out of his way being more than ready to whoop Fury's ass. So he wanted to hold this out for an extra year, make the excuse to say, oh, hey, contract expired, so Fury, he's going to go about his way and fight this bum Kabyle, right? Kabali, I don't know who the fuck that Middle Eastern trash is. No disrespect to Middle Easterns, but I'm just saying this for the sake of my own entertainment. But he was trying to fight that one bum Kabyle, I don't know who the fuck he is, but basically he figured, okay, if I could fight him, get him, stay busy, get this AJ fight that was somehow signed and sealed with the contract negotiations, and then Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum were gonna talk it out, try to get the fight made, and then it just never happened because there was no confirmation of where the fight was gonna be held, which everybody wanted it in the UK, as if people did not forget that. As if people were to forget that Tyson Fury is banned in the UK for at least 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, if not more, for his cheating antics in the past, for having banned substance drugs in his body. So don't ever try to fucking tell me that you British idiots were gonna have an undisputed world champion back in England. So it was never gonna fucking happen. So what better way than to have it in Saudi Arabia, the piece of shit nation that oppresses women. But more so, it's just like, it's like, it was never going to be undisputed, in the UK. It was going to either be in America, where you're probably gonna have it in America, because ain't no damn prince in Saudi Arabia gonna drop all that money and be like, oh, just bring them over here. We'll have everybody show up to that. You're gonna make every single fan out of all places of the world to try to show up to that fight. Who the fuck wants to go to Saudi Arabia? Saudi Arabia has the worst economy ever. They don't have people working enough to keep that economy running. But if you have it in America, America is way better because, one, you have more social media networks out here. Two, you have a much higher population in terms of people that want to see the fight, which, AJ versus Fury is not a big fight. AJ versus Wilder is a damn big fight. Wilder versus Ruiz is a damn big fight. Wilder versus fucking, almost any type of heavyweight you could think of is a damn big fight. That is why Deontay Wilder is hated by the American media, which is very sad because Deontay Wilder, he is a very successful Alabama-born American fighter, former bronze Olympian in the Olympics, and he got cheated by Tyson Fury, which he should have been undefeated world champion, defending his title for the 10th time, beating Fury in both fights, fair and square, breaking Muhammad Ali's record for having more than 10 title defenses. That would have been history. But guess what? The piece of shit, sanctioning body, the WBC, did not want to make this fight happen between Wilder and Fury to make it go Wilder's way. So they wanted to allow cheating to not let the history show that a hopeless fighter can ever get beat by a coincidentalist fighter that is dangerous and very talented with his or her skills. So let's cheat this man, or cheat the woman, But no, if we're talking about Wilder in this situation, let's cheat him so that way he doesn't have the opportunity to make history for, for his legacy and for the people that follow him and for the history of those fighters. So that's why Wilder got cheated. He got cheated for history. He got cheated to say, nah, fuck this piece of shit Negro. Fuck this piece of shit black person. Because he's not, he's not good. He's not well talented. He's being he's being praised like a real champion for wanting to fight the best, but we're not going to let him win against, the competition that he is better than most fighters. He's doing everything he can to fight the best, but yet he's still getting cheated. It's evil. It's absolutely evil because it shows the pure ignorance and the pure distaste of black American fighters that have the best talent in the world, that have showed that America is number one in the world because of black American fighters. And the reason why I stand behind a guy like Deontay Wilder is that Deontay Wilder is a very good fighter. He knows how to box. He knows how to hit you with that right hand, but he knows how to collect data from you. He has a good data input. And I say that in the way of, like, if Mark Breland was not his trainer, he would be a devastating boxer. A devastating boxer with power, and he has amazing defense. Which, I mean, Wilder, he has good defense, but the thing is that Mark Breland was not teaching him any good techniques with his power and using pure boxing skill ability. Because Mark Breland, he's supposed to be a world champion, right? Oh, no. Well, no, he's not a world champion. He's a champion that probably cheated himself, and he probably did drugs, and he started banging people. Yeah, started banging hookers and being lazy with his career. Yeah, you had your time being a champ. Yeah, being a champion at, like, what, 130, 140 or some shit, and then you got knocked out, I think, by Vernon Forrest, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't really care about that. Mark Breland, you're a piece of shit. You don't train world champions. You were just in it to take advantage of Wilder for the money. And just admit it, you're not that good. But Mark Breland knew that Deontay Wilder, he had all the talent in the world to become a pure boxer. It's just that Mark Breland did not teach Wilder all the way to expand his abilities and skills for him to be the most devastating fighter of his own caliber. Because it's like, you're going to just foolishly let your fighter fall in love with his power and not expand his skill set to a point where he could be more dangerous in the ring. So then you got sick of that. You thought, like, oh man, yeah, my fighter, he's not that good. Knowing that he was a world champion for more than I think 5 years. Yeah, Deontay Wilder, yeah, he was a world champion for 5 years. Yeah, let's take a look at that. I guarantee you. Ah, shit, I'm so sorry. Wilder, BoxRec. Yeah, Deontay Wilder is, he was a world champion for like more than 5 years. Yeah, WBC. Yeah, he beat the shit out of Malik Scott. Malik Scott is now his trainer. Yeah, 2015 all the way to 2020. Yeah, he held the WBC World Heavyweight title for 5 years. Wow. Deontay Wilder is technically the greatest of all time. Held the fucking world title for 5 years. Yo, good job, Wilder. I fucking love you, man. Yo, Wilder is the fucking GOAT. Wilder is the goddamn GOAT. I don't care what the fuck anybody has to say. Wilder is a king of all kings. He's too dangerous and he's too powerful. But let's even just talk about what Wilder could have been expanded by. If he was trained by Malik Scott, let's just say he dropped Mark Breland as a trainer, and he had Jay Diaz and Malik Scott as his training stable, which I think Jay Diaz still works with him. But if Wilder doesn't work with Jay, then maybe there's, maybe there's an understandable reason for that. But I would still hope JDS is still there. But Malik Scott is now the primary trainer of the whole situation. But if Malik Scott had trained Wilder from that point on, he would have been the most deadliest fighter out of all heavyweights, with good boxing, defensive IQ, and just amazing technical fighting skills to utilize his power to the fullest maximum, but to hide it. And that's what made Wilder into such a dangerous fighter. And even when Wilder had fights where you thought Wilder was going to lose, he made the adjustment and then boom, he knocks you out. The Luis Ortiz fights had to have been one of the greatest examples of Wilder making those adaptations. And it just shows how deadly of a boxer Wilder can be. But it was Mark Breland that held him back, and that's how Wilder, he got cheated, man. And I mean, look, if Wilder beat the shit out of Fury in the first fight, which it showed that Wilder did, because Wilder technically did win the first fight, it's just that the piece of shit ref, Jack Reese, did not want to. Honestly, Wilder, he could actually throw a lawsuit over that. Yeah, Wilder, he actually has a lot of legal power he could actually throw in a court of law against Fury for that first fight. And for the cheating in the second fight, yeah, he could catch Fury for all that shit. So yeah, even though that Wilder wants to get his justice in the ring, he could easily throw Fury into prison. He could catch Fury for cheating in both fights. That'll have multiple counts on Fury, and then he could throw cheating on the referee that frauded in the first fight, and he could probably throw charges onto Mark Breland for him throwing in the towel. And let's just say, if there's proof to show that Mark Breland, he actually had drugged Deontay Wilder, which you could easily probably get some medical report showing that. Yeah, good. Yeah, Wilder can easily do that. He can easily get Mark Breland out of there. Get fucking Jack Reese out the picture. Basically just prosecute the shit out of everyone and get a shitload of money back. That's basically how I would see it. That's actually good. That's actually a better trade-off. But for the topic alone, well, let me just finalize with Wilder and Fury. If Wilder Fury 3 does happen, which Fury did say last night, oh, I signed the contract, so now it's ready to go. I don't see that to be true. I don't think Fury signed the contract. I think he's saying that just to lie through his teeth for now, until the fight is set and it's approved by a promoter, whether if it's coming from Bob Arum or if it's coming from Frank Warren, or let's just say Al Heyman and the PBC. Even though Al Heyman, he's not a promoter, he's just an advisor. But either way, if it's coming from any official news sources, I'm not going to believe what Fury says, because Fury just said the other day that he gave Wilder step aside money and some other bullshit that didn't make any sense. So he was being a fraud right there. So I don't think Fury is going to fight Wilder, especially when you never wanted to fight that man in the first place, because you know what the fuck was going to happen. It's now going to be viewed with a magnifying glass. So what makes anyone think in the world that Fury is going to fight Wilder when Fury's running? Yeah, he's running with his life away from Wilder. But if Fury is going to fight Wilder, because one, he has no choice in the sense of, okay, if I back out of this fight, one, I'm going to be prosecuted, and two, he's going to lose everything. He's going to be thrown in prison. He's going to be thrown with the book. And Fury knows it, because Wilder, he's not going to let Fury live. He's going to kill Fury. He wants to kill Fury. If he can't kill him in the ring, he's going to kill him in jail, or he's going to execute him. He could literally force he could actually force a death penalty case onto Tyson Fury. And I think that's a really good thing to, one, get justice, and two, to let the world know that if you try to do this in the sport of boxing, you should actually be charged with life in prison, or to be killed, just straight up fucking killed. But either way, even though that the state doesn't operate like that. The state operates like a piece of shit with the kangaroo court system in all parts of the world. It's really hard to actually even it's really hard to actually even determine that. But I would hope in the right court of law that will favor Wilder's demands of what he wants out of Fury. But either way, let's talk about the other topics, because I'm starting to get pissed off about Tyson Fury. I really hope Wilder kills him and literally breaks every single bone out of his body. Do some Mortal Kombat shit to him. That would be funny. But let's talk about Josh Taylor. Congrats to Josh Taylor for getting undisputed. Undisputed. No, he's not. He's not a duck, but undisputed at the 140-pound junior welterweight division. Much love and congrats to him. Even though that I'm a little bit antsy about Josh Taylor because he's associated with Daniel the bitch Canahan, the fraud and the criminal Canahan, the mafia gang member leader. But basically, no, Josh Taylor, congrats to you. Honestly, Taylor, he kind of fights like a black person. He's almost like Roy Jones in a way, but I would kind of put him next to like Antonio Tarver, because he's very Tarverish with a really good if I could even use like another black American fighter, like I wouldn't say he's like a guy with power, but he's a guy with boxing talent that can knock you out. So he's like Joe Louis with a good Antonio Tarver mix, if that does make sense. Like he really does have like a Joe Louis poker face where he doesn't show that he gets hurt, but when he boxes, he's like Tarver, like hands down. He is just like Tarver. And I think stylistically, Josh Taylor can easily wipe out Terrence Crawford, but it's going to be a very tough match itself to determine how Taylor is going to respond to a guy like Terrence Crawford. But congrats to Josh Taylor. He's the second Scottish fighter in Scottish boxing history. The reason why I don't even call him British is because Scottish people are genetically different from the Brits. But, the Brits want to say, oh, Britain for the win. Scottish people fucking hate Britain. Let's just make that clear. Scottish people do not like the British. There's a reason why Scotland has always had odds with Britain, and they're probably going to secede again in the future. But it's like the Scots see themselves divided away from the Brits, which is a good thing. But the thing is that when it comes to, the levels of boxing, in the political sense, the Scottish are different in legacy versus from British people. Like, at least the Irish and the Scottish people know how to fight. British people can't fight worth a shit. So, congrats to Scotland. Fuck you, England. Great job for Josh Taylor's success for Undisputed. It was a tough war against Jose Ramirez. Ramirez almost came close to stopping Taylor. He was hitting him with those body shots and hit him with a damn good left hook and right hooks. But Josh Taylor is the second undisputed world champion out of Scotland, behind Ken Buchanan. That's his name. He was the lightweight undisputed world champion at one point, I believe in the 70s or the 60s. I'm not too sure, but congrats to Josh Taylor. You've made history. You've made like your people proud. So I give him lots of credit and respect for that. And I would say congrats to Jose Ramirez. Ramirez, you still are a champion, even though that you lost. I actually wanted Ramirez to win this fight, and I had Ramirez winning in the early rounds up until round 6, leading to the end of the round. Josh Taylor was just hitting him with good shots and just, baiting Jose to a good shot that he did not see, which are usually the shots that hurt, the most. And I think that's what happened. I think Jose, he just didn't have a good style to adjust to Josh's style, and Josh just basically just wiped the floor with him. And I give a lot of credit to Josh because, like I said, he does not fight like a European. He is not no white boy that fights like a white boy. He doesn't fight like a pussy. He fights like a black guy. And I'm sorry to bring the racial identity to this, but it's like, if you look at how Americans fight, he fights just like the black fighters. Josh Taylor is not he's not no European fighter. He's a black fighter. That's how good Josh Taylor is. And Josh Taylor, he did not go through some easy competition. He went through some rough, rugged fights. He went up against some damn good fighters. You went to war with Ivan Baranchyk with less than 10 fights? And then you whooped him? You whooped him! You did not just beat him, you whooped him! He dropped him like a couple times. Baranchyk did not really have an answer. And then you came out of your way, you fought Regis Prograis and won the Muhammad Ali tournament. Good for you. Like, literally, that is like a huge ass win. I think he fought Victor Postal. I'm not too sure about that. I don't think he fought Victor Postal. We can take a look at that right now. Josh Taylor. Yo, congrats to Josh Taylor. He's my homie, bro. He's literally my homie. Josh Taylor, he's a beast. I love that guy. I love him to death. Josh Taylor, you are a beast. Come on, load up, Mr. Boxrec. There we go. Alright, so yeah, he never really fought anybody tough until he went to the world level. Yeah, after he beat O'Hara Davies, he fought Miguel Vasquez. Yeah, he KO'd his ass. Winston Campos, that's a guy that gave Josh Kelly problems, but no, he beat the crap out of him. He beat Victor. Yeah, he beat Victor Postal. Yeah, I was actually right. So yeah, he beat Victor Postal better than Terrence Bud Crawford, and then he fought Ryan Martin. What? Yo, this man is just whooping on American talent. Which, I mean, Ryan Martin's not the best fighter of all worlds, but after that, he then faced fucking Ivan Baranchyk, that came off of his biggest win, and he was undefeated prior to the Josh Taylor fight. Yeah, he beat Anthony Yajit, which, I mean, that was just a vacant title fight, but still, for him to come out of his way and still face a tough guy like Taylor shows that, you know, he doesn't care if he wins or loses. He's fighting top-notch competition. So he beat Ivan Baranchyk. Congrats to him. And he then went on to beat Regis Prograis, unified, got 2 belts, and then he fought some bum named Apinan Kong Song. I don't know who the hell he is, but you sure as hell ain't making it to another world title. But I guess he's gonna probably be back. You never know with these weird unknown fighter fights. But then he then on to face Jose Ramirez for Undisputed. Yeah, but it's like, you know, it's just so interesting of how you see that happen. And he's done it all. So congrats to my boy, Mr. Josh Tartan Tornado. I'm not even gonna call you that. I don't even know why the hell I don't even know why he calls himself that. I'm gonna call you Josh the Obliterator Taylor. Josh the Scottish Obliterator Knight Taylor. You are obliterating boys out of your way. You are obliterating niggas out your way. And, you know, I'm just saying this as a black man from the U.S. supporting you and to stand behind you for the Scottish legacy. You're doing your thing. You are whooping people like it is Mortal Kombat on that final fatality hit list. He's just taking names and he does not care if he loses, because he knows that he's still going to become a threat prior to come. And I'm happy for him, you know. Josh Taylor's doing everything right, and he's solidifying legacy. And that's how every boxer should be. You should not have the easy way out in boxing. You know, you put your life on the line, but you're gonna get paid shit money for fighting bums, and you want to keep doing that until you get a big fight. You know, that shit don't make any sense. If you want to make big money and you want to keep your career, you're gonna fight tough fights every time you get matched up with somebody. And I think that's why the sport of boxing needs to be set up similar to the NBA in a way where you could have like fight leagues. You could have like the National Boxing League or the Universal Boxing Leagues of certain parts of the world. And how it works is that if you want to make it to the top, you have to fight tough competition to improve your ranking and to go up against people in the division. Because if you get high quality wins, and I'm not saying just high quality just for the name, you get wins over guys that are in the same path as you. So if you want to make it to the top 15 spot, but you're at like number 50, you have to be a top 25 guy, and then your probability will keep increasing higher for the upper echelon rank and division. Because in today's boxing, it's like boxing is so corrupt where you could have somebody have a lot of money, whether that's a promoter or anybody who's rich, they could pay for your ranking, and you could easily just go through all the loops and hoops to be ranked into the WBC or the WBA or the IBF or the WBO. And it's so corrupt because it's like you got some of these fighters out here that don't deserve to be ranked, like Vasyl Lomachenko. This motherfucker had his very first fight as a debut, won it, and then he then went on to get a title shot against fucking Orlando Salido. It's like, how does this motherfucker get a title shot, after winning a debut, and then he loses? Well, I think Salido beat him, but I'm not even too sure. Like, I think it was for, hold on, let me this is why I like streaming with Omlet, because you can just surf, the internet and shit, and you don't have to like pause your stream or have to end it. But if we look at Lomachenko's box rec, this stupid motherfucker had everything given to him, and he took advantage of it because one, Bob Arum had political connections with him, so it just made it easier for him to just walk through all the hoops and loops to make himself easier for the fight to be made. But I think the issue is just simple, that Lomachenko basically cheated his way through. But yeah, right here. So his very first fight, he fought Jose Luis Ramirez, a guy from Mexico that wasn't that good of a fighter, beat the crap out of him. And then his second fight, he got a world title shot against Orlando Salido for the vacant WBO title. Lost it in a split decision victory, which it wasn't split decision. Salido went to school on him. He literally annihilated Lomachenko. So Lomachenko got destroyed in the second fight, or in his second fight, and then he on to face Gary Russell in his third bout, which never made any sense because the WBO rule stated that you cannot fight for a world title coming off of a loss. You have to come off of a win. So how the hell does Lomachenko get a world title shot, but a guy like Shakur Stevenson somehow can't get a world title shot for his WBO mandatory spot against a guy like Jamel Herring, in which he's been calling for that fight, and he's been calling to fight Oscar Valdez to gain his title shot against him. But somehow Vasyl Lomachenko can somehow get a title shot right away. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. You already know what the hell's happening here. This is all politics. This is not real boxing rankings. A real boxing rankings would be fighters fighting the best, and then if you want to get up there, you have to beat the top guys to get up there. So that's why the sport of boxing is so, goddamn corrupt. Because, there's so much shit, in the sport that makes it so, imbalanced and unfair for the fighters to grow. So, yeah, that definitely needs to be fixed, because this is all fucking, retarded. But yeah, let's talk about what Mikaela Mayer said. Credit to Josh Taylor. He did what he had to do. He was on that Liu Kang shit with Jose Ramirez, and he washed him. I think Terrence Crawford is going to fight him next. I don't think Crawford's going to have balls to fight any top welterweight, and I think he's on his way out, so Bob Arum's going to set up the fight, and he's going to kick Terrence Crawford out the top ranked stable and just say, "See you later." It's going to be so funny, and Terrence Crawford's going to be like, "I can't do anything because I ain't got a world title. I got cheated. I got robbed, man." But hey, who knows? Terrence Crawford, he might knock out Taylor, and then he'd be like, "Ha ha ha, I got all the belts now." Or I still got my belt, and you still couldn't kick me out, blah blah blah. It it would be so funny if Bob Arum really tried to do that, try to set Crawford up for failure, and come to find out that he never really liked Terrence Crawford, so he just did it in the worst way possible by screwing over his title defense, maybe in a split decision loss or whatever bullshit. But that would be hilarious. I don't believe in rematches, but guess what? I will believe in a rematch between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. It's like, that's what rematches are there for in the contract, idiot. And yet he still calls himself a fucking lawyer. Like, I find Bob Arum, he's a piece of shit. But let's talk about what Mikaela Mayer said about Teofimo Lopez being undisputed. She said something really, like, dumb, I would say. But I don't blame her, because I don't think she's that educated in what's going on. But let me just make it nice and clear here. Teofimo Lopez is not undisputed. Look, I love Mikaela Mayer. She's one of the nicest females that I would say. She is beautiful. She is gorgeous as a moon. And she's very soft. She's very well spoken. And she really cares about what she's trying to do for female boxing. I really love watching her fight. She's a very good woman. But I sometimes even criticize of who she's fighting, and why isn't she just unifying and just go after all the belts. And I think she's trying to do that, but I think Bob Arum is screwing her over, and I think she needs to part ways and go with maybe PBC. Make it easier for herself, let her control her career. I'm not just saying PBC is at the end all be all, but at least go with a good network that respects women and gives women all the chances and glories of what male fighters are trying to do now. But what she said about Teofimo, she said Teofimo Lopez is undisputed. He earned his way in there, blah blah blah, and he has all the talents in the world to do what he needs to do, and I find that absolutely bullshit. I understand it's her opinion, but opinions does not trump facts. Teofimo Lopez is not the best talent in the world. He got dropped in sparring by Mr. Jose Valenzuela, El Rayo, and he got exposed by Devin Haney in sparring, and Devin Haney is the WBC lightweight champion. Because if Teofimo Lopez is undisputed, why is there still a dispute between him and Devin? Why is Teofimo Lopez not willing to fight Devin Haney now? Instead, he'll fight George Kambosos Jr., which I don't think George Kambosos is really a bum. I mean, I guess we'll find out in that fight. If Kambosos can upset Teofimo, that would be a good upset, and I would like to see the upset so Devin can beat the shit out of Kambosos or Kambozos. Oh man, I really love creating drama on here. But I just think like certain fighters are just misinformed about the situation. Devin Haney is still the WBC champion, and if that were to not be true, why would the WBC break their own rules to change someone's championship status to being a non-champion? It doesn't make any sense. Devin Haney's been the champion since 2019. Yeah, 2019 seems about right. Or 2018. He's held the belt for at least like a year and a half. So it's not like Devin Haney has been holding a fake belt. He's been holding a real belt the whole time. The problem is that Teofimo Lopez in top pussy rank boxing is lying through their teeth, and ESPN as well, and DAZN, and all the other retard channels on YouTube that wants to lie about Teofimo's championship status, saying that he's undisputed and he earned the WBC belt, knowing that he did not fight for a WBC belt. This motherfucker fought for a unified championship for the IBF, the WBA, and the WBO belt for, Vasyl Lomachenko's WBA and WBO belt, idiots. But yet they're still going to call him undisputed because, one, they don't want him to fight Devin Haney. That's simple, right? It's simple. Devin Haney is a titan and he's a threat. And like I've been saying this whole goddamn time, Devin Haney is like smoke mixed with Reptile out of Mortal Kombat. Like, he's so effing deadly. Devin Haney knows how to outread you. He knows how to hit you at the right time, and he psychologically pressures you with that power. He does not care. Devin Haney is by far the best 135-pound lightweight world champion, and Teofimo Lopez does not have balls to fight Devin Haney. But I think if Devin Haney, if he applies pressure, he can easily make Teofimo fight him. But the issue is just simple, that Teofimo, he's publicly ducking. He's publicly ducking. But I really hope Teofimo does fight Devin, in the next fight. But it's like, is he willing to get up inside there and be a man of his word? Yeah, I'm going to fight Devin Haney after I beat the crap out of George Kambozos. Okay, well, why can't you just fight him now instead of holding this fight off? Because you did say that you don't have too many fights left for 135, and Devin says he doesn't have too many fights left for 135. So I kind of think like that makes all the sense in the world to get this fight out the way. Unless you're going to vacate and move up to 140, guess what? Devin can still go for undisputed. He's just going to have to fight whoever's going to be put in front of him for him to get that undisputed belt. So either way, like, it doesn't matter to me for him not wanting to, for Devin not getting his opportunity to fight Teofimo, because if Teofimo wants to move up to 140, Devin could easily order the IBF and WBA and WBO or any of those sanctioning bodies to say, hey, I want all those belts. Give me all those belts. That could be a unified vacant championship for undisputed. And I think that makes all the sense in the world. Unless they're going to play that bullshit to say, nah, you got to fight these guys. Get the fuck out of here. It should be for all three belts. You give me the goddamn belt. Just put the next guy in front of me. F you. If they don't want to do that, fuck them. Whatever. Fuck them. Devin Haney, he is being treated like another Muhammad Ali with a Jack Johnson. It's so evil and it's so disrespectful, because these people that say black fighters cannot sell and they can't do the things that they can't do, that they're already doing now, they can easily dominate. The problem is that the sanctioning bodies and the political structure behind boxing, they don't want to see the coincidentalist fighters beating up hopeless fighters or just beating any fighter. They don't want to see anybody on the coincidental dominate the sport. You see black people dominating the NBA. You see black people dominating football. You see black people dominating baseball in certain cases. But it's like, for boxing, it's like, it's absolutely disrespectful. You don't ever have this issue with other sports except for boxing. And it's set in stone there because people do not want to see other people rise. Because it's all racially motivated, as Floyd Mayweather would put it. As I, basically paraphrase that. But either way, it's just so effed up. And I hope Devin Haney, he could get a undisputed title belt with Teofimo. Because it makes no sense that if Teofimo vacates, then Devin would have to vacate if none of those sanctioning bodies are going to be okay with Devin fighting for vacant belts. Which I don't see why not, because one, he could fight, I don't know, like, let's just say, like, he could fight I mean, who else is there at 135? That's really like the biggest issue right now. I mean, he could fight Lomachenko for all those belts, but if Lomachenko loses to Nakatani and Nakatani, he's next up in line. Shit, I don't mind seeing Devin versus Nakatani for Undisputed. Fuck it, man. Let's just get all the belts together. That's really all I care about. Just to see Devin Haney Undisputed, it would be the best fight ever. But either way, I think Mikaela Mayer, she's a bit she's a bit misinformed, and I love Mikaela. She's one of the greatest women ever. Shout out to you. Shout out to Miss Queen Clarissa Shields and Amanda Serrano, the Miss Puerto Rican Queen, and the Black American Queen, and the Miss Beautiful Queen, Mikaela Mayer. But yeah, it's just, I don't think she's really informed all the way in. I think she probably knows that, or she's just saying that just to say it, maybe for like promotional, banter. And I don't blame her. Maybe she tries it. Maybe she does think Teofimo is undisputed, but I would actually probably have to talk with her about that to actually get a better, to get a clear, evident, review on her end. But I think she knows that fight alone would be one of the most difficult fights for Teofimo. And Teofimo, he has a reason for not fighting Devin now, because he knows what the fuck is going to happen to him. He knows what happened to him in sparring could easily translate in a real fight. And I think there's a reason why Teofimo, he does not say anything about that sparring. He does not mention what Devin did to him. And even though I don't know too much about the sparring, but I do know that Devin Haney, he did not get hit, and he was styling on Teo. And I think that's what's going to happen in that fight. Sorry, guys, but for all you Teofimo retard fans that think that Teofimo Lopez is like the best in the world, but this motherfucker is not fighting the best in the world. He would have been fought Devin Haney. He would have got Undisputed out the way. If I'm Teofimo Lopez, what do you think I'm going to do if I'm a 3-belt holder, 3-belt unified championship holder, and I have like one more belt to put the puzzle together? Am I going to just fight a bum as my mandatory for one of the organizations? Or should I just unify and go for Undisputed? And I think I should go for Undisputed, because I truly believe that there should be a rule set in place for the sport of boxing that if a champion fights another champion, or he or she is willing to fight another champion, that champion that wants to fight the other champion should be a mandatory right away. Because the reason why is that it'll force the big fights to happen, even if that champion don't want to fight the other champion. So therefore, that champ is still going to get the belt anyway. So the next person in line will just be the mandatory that will have to step up to get that championship belt if they want to take the belts away from the other champion that wants to face the champion that didn't want to fight him or her. Which, some people would say, oh, that's a stupid rule, but I think that's a good rule, because one, it still forces the best fighting the best, and there wouldn't really be a bum out of that equation, because the next mandatory that's going to come up will be the next guy that should have been a mandatory for the other champion or woman. So I think it'll even itself out, because I think that's how the cycle should be for boxing. It should just be like the NBA, where look, if you don't chip in for the playoffs, sorry, you don't get your shot. But if you've already chipped in as the 8th seed, guess what? You're going to go through some nitty gritty with the 1st seed, and then the 4th or 5th seed, and whatever seeds that are left. And I think for boxing, it should be like that. It should be set up like a tournament every time when you start your career, and then once you make it to the final end of your career path to try to get to a world title. That's where it's all set in stone, and I think that makes all the sense in the world, because it still forces the best to fight the best anyway. Instead, that you give all these fighters the power to do whatever the hell they want, and it's up to them if they want to keep their title on the line against bum ass mandatories that don't make sense, Or they just choose to defend it, and then they have a mandatory. And then if they choose not to face a mandatory, they can vacate and go to a different division. Or if they have balls, they're going to fight everybody, unify all the belts, and then go against a mandatory if need be, which is really stupid. And I really hate that because, let the mandatory should well, I mean, mandatory should only step aside if the champions are wanting to get undisputed. But if that mandatory was contractually obligated with that original champion to have a fight deal set in place, then no. Then that contract needs to be obligated, and then the other champion has to stay busy, and then you can talk about unification. But unification belts should be mandatory right away if there's no other pre-existing mandatories preventing the champion forcing the fight to fight another champion. I think that makes all the sense, in the world. If I'm looking at it from a third-person party, lens. But I think Mikaela, she's just a bit misinformed. I think she would understand the full picture if she started doing her research a bit more and probably looking at maybe my channel or let's say Aki TV or Dante Boxing Nation's channel. I think she does watch that. It probably wouldn't surprise me because it's like, you are a world champion and you know that you just can't become a world champion by a different sanctioning body if you didn't earn it. So I think Mikaela, she understands that. She just needs to stop being dishonest in that case. And hopefully we can see her fight, man, because she's been out the ring for so long, and it's like it doesn't make any sense why she's being, so inactive. And the last fight she had, she kind of looked a bit slow against Helen Joseph. Yeah, she did, but put on a. Well, no, she fought who's that one Polish girl? I forgot her name. She fought against and I forgot that Polish lady's name, but she fought that Polish lady for the WBO belt. Good for her. I think it was for 130 or something. But yeah, she beat her, destroyed her. That was a good fight. I kind of felt like she should have just stopped her. I don't understand why she didn't stop her. I guess she doesn't have all the power in the world, but no, she defeated her. She defeated her with ease, so that was a good, easy fight. She was supposed to fight Terry Harper, but Terry Harper, I guess she injured herself. She got injured, but I thought Terry was supposed to fight that one Asian chick, Queen Mi Choi. Yeah, I don't know how to say her name. Yeah, she a beautiful lady though, but yeah, maybe get that fight in the way. I don't see why not. Queen Mi Choi, that'd be a good unification bout between her and Mikaela Mayer. Other than that, maybe she goes up against a mandatory. I really thought she was gonna fight Alicia Baumgartner, but I guess according to her, of what she found out, Alicia couldn't get approved by Nevada State Athletic Commission, so I think she's still out for now until she gets back in. But maybe the next person in line could be I don't know who else is really there. Let me take a look at it, because I'm almost positive that the next person in line would have to be I don't know who the other champion is, but we gonna find out, buddy. We gonna find out. We gonna find out who is the other queen of the puzzle of Undisputed. But now let's take a look at this beautiful fighter, Mikaela Mayer. Oh, she's number 3 on BoxRec. Yeah, Delphine Persoon, right? Really? Yeah, well, she fights at lightweight. So how does she still have a title? Yeah, Mikaela fights at super featherweight, so who the fuck is... Yeah, she beat Iwa Bradnica. Fatuma Zarika? She's an old lady, by the way. No. I don't know. I don't know who is the Yeah, I know Mikaela is the WBO, but the other lady I'm thinking, yeah, I know Mavia Hamadushi. She's the IBF, so she could try fighting her. I don't think that fight's gonna happen. Sadly, if Mavia, let's just say she probably don't want to fight her, or she probably is going a different direction, but she could fight Queen Mi Choi. Catharnia Sanders, she's out the picture. She got beat. Maybe Bo Mi Shin. No, I don't know who that girl is. I don't really care about that. There's Ayana Vasquez. That could happen. Maybe. No, I don't know. Yeah, there's Ayana Vasquez. Yeah, I know that one. Like, no, she like. I mean, most of these ladies are not anybody that I would even worry about. No, it doesn't even matter. Uh, oh, maybe she has WBC. Yeah, okay, got it. So, yeah, Terry Harper has the WBC, and Mavia has the WBO, and or no, Mavia has the IBF, and Mikaela has the WBO, and Queen Mi Choi has a WBA. Okay, yeah, so yeah, like I mean, Mikaela, she could easily go for Queen, defeat her, and then go off and fight Mavia or Terry, whoever gets back up, or whoever could be available in the future, and just take over Undisputed and then move up to lightweight or something. I don't know, but I think that'll be good for her. She's on her way to being a good all time fighter. I think stylistically, Mikaela washes Terry. I don't think Terry would be able to handle a fighter like Mikaela, because Mikaela, she's trained under I forgot that one trainer's name, but she's trained by Coach Al. He's a good trainer himself, and I like how she develops with him. So I think Mikaela, if she does what she has to do, she's definitely on her way to success, and she's definitely gonna do her thing. So I give all the props in the world to Mikaela Mayer, but I do disagree of what she said about Teofimo Lopez, trying to say that, oh, he's undisputed. She said it somewhere on somebody's channel, but I don't think that's a really good viewpoint to look at Teofimo when he didn't really earn it. He never really earned the WBC, so he still has a dispute with Devin Haney, and that fight still needs to happen. So that's pretty much what I gotta say. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoy the live. I think this is a better setup for me versus having to go through recording this. So I hope to come out with more content, and thank you guys for watching. Thank you, and goodbye. Oh shit, I'm so sorry. Yo, a lot of people fucking. Oh, no, 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 I don't. No, this is like all the. Oh. No, is this like all the comments from yesterday? Oh. Yeah, that was like. No, that was like the other day. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so. Yeah, this is like all chat from yesterday. Okay. Okay. Alright, yeah, so that's pretty much it. Alright, thank you guys. I'll be coming out with more, stuff in the future. So I'll see you guys. Thank you. Goodbye.